we'll be focusing on this idea of seeing from different perspectives, or learning to become flexible and change our perspective. And this is quite helpful as we move through life, as we cultivate this increased ability to see clearly and enhance our capacity for compassion and kindness towards others as we navigate very difficult circumstances. It's essential that we have this flexibility to be able to see from different perspectives. And fortunately, the practices of yoga really help us to cultivate that ability. And we do this by turning our bodies in different shapes, going upside down, seeing the world from a totally different angle. Also learning to notice these different polarities, opposites, seeming paradoxes within our own experience, within our own body. The dance of the inhalation and the exhalation, different patterns of expression through the body. And even our experience from seeing the world as one individual little self, but as part of something much bigger, constantly in interaction. And so as we interact with other people, sometimes you may find someone who seems to just see from a very different worldview. And we see this a lot with groups that become so divided, very divisive. And it's very helpful if all of us can learn to soften a bit, not giving in, not being run over by somebody else's views, but learning to understand where they might be coming from and see things in different ways, whether that's from physically turning yourself upside down or just shifting something inside. So begin by finding a comfortable way to sit. Sitting bones rooting down and back. Lift up through the crown of the head. Close the eyes. Take a deep inhalation here. Feel the body expand as the breath drops way down inside. And a long, smooth exhalation. Let yourself soften around the edges as you lift through the crown of the head and the breath flows up and out. And now, keeping the eyes closed, bring the attention onto the breath. Watch it with your awareness as it moves in and out. The gentle expansion of every inhalation. And then it turns into the exhalation. After the stillness of the empty, the exhalation turns back into the inhalation. And so on, always, as long as we're alive. And now start to gently deepen the breath. So let the belly be soft and find a little more fullness on every inhalation. Without forcing, just opening up. And let the exhalations be about the same length as the inhalation. Long, smooth, softening. Progressively calming the nervous system, honing the focus, becoming receptive. More sensitive. Now bring the hands together in front of the heart. And we'll chant 3 times the sound Om together. Allow for a deep inhalation. Get ready. Release the hands, open the eyes. Welcome to your practice. So now we'll practice a pranayama technique, or a breathing technique, that's called Brahmari. You may be familiar with this already. It's the bumblebee breath. So basically what we'll do is inhale normally, but then on the exhalation, will be with the mouth closed, and you make a low humming sound. So it sounds like a bee flying through a garden. We'll do this 9 times, and as we do it, we'll have the ears blocked with the thumbs, and the other fingers to the skull. So as you do that humming sound on the exhalation, you feel this incredible resonance of the vibration of the sound through the skull. And you'll notice that if you change how your mouth is a bit, like if you bring the teeth just to touch barely, or open them up, or change the positioning of the tongue, or softening through the roof of the mouth, you get slightly different effects in where exactly you feel the sound. So you can adjust that, learn to modulate it, see where it feels like the perfect spot. So as you're ready, block the ears with your thumbs, and then the other fingers go to the skull. We'll do 9 rounds of Brahmari. Here we go. After you finish your last round, release the hands and just sit quietly in the space after the sound. Notice any effects, any changes. And then open the eyes and shift forward over your feet, making your way to hands and knees, all fours. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. On an inhalation, lift the crown of the head, lift the sitting bones, broad chest. And exhale, round your back, hollow out the belly, hips all the way to the heels. Again, inhale, come up to all fours, scoop. Exhale, round, press through the back as you draw the hips down and back. Keep going like that, moving with the breath. The next time your hips sink to your heels, stay here in child's pose, balasana, letting the forehead rest down, the fingers spread. Feel the breath spread across the back of the chest, dropping down towards the hips. Inhale, rise back to all fours. Spread the fingers wide on the mat. Root down into all 10 fingers, all 10 knuckles, especially the index knuckle. Shoulders roll away from the ears. And now tuck the toes. On an exhalation, send your hips up and back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then slowly walk the feet all the way up to the hands. Forward fold at the top of the mat. Drape the upper body over. Inhale, halfway lift. Uncoil the spine to lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, soften. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And now with bent knees, inhale, roll all the way up to stand. Lifting through the crown of the head, as if you have a regal crown. Growing up towards the sky, rooting into the feet. And now step the big toes together to touch at the top of the mat. Heels an inch or two apart. Feet rooting down, rising through the crown of the head. Find a steady, soft gaze. And then shift your weight forward and back, and side to side, so that you feel the weight shift across the soles of the feet. Then find the perfect balance point between front and back, right and left. All these different perspectives of the feet. And when you find that, stay there in the middle. Long through the center line. Rooting deep to the center of the earth, grounding you. And rising up, crown of the head, lifting towards space, like a rocket launching into the atmosphere. Everything balanced. Samastitihi, equal standing. Now hands together in front of the heart. You prepare for sun salutations. Surya Namaskar. Waking up the vitality of the body through the center line. Inhale, arms overhead, get very tall. Really reach. And now exhale, dive forward. All the way down. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the feet back to a high plank. And then lower knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Inhale for cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And a few breaths here. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Hands should be shoulder distance apart, feet are hip distance apart. And roll the shoulders away from the ears so the head and neck have space to drop down. And press even more into your hands as you reach the hips way up and back, lengthening the spine. Bottom of the next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, strong through the legs, reaching tall. Exhale brings you back to Samastiti, equal standing. Again, inhale, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower down. Inhale, cobra, Bhujangasana, shoulders back, bright heart. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And a few breaths here. Let the breath move fully through the body. Every inhalation, filling the chest and belly. And as you exhale, let the breath wash down and out. Steady, soft gaze as you see the world upside down here. Sitting bones reaching higher and higher out towards space. Bend the knees, look forward, bottom of an exhalation. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale brings you back to center, Samastiti. Once more like that. Again, drop into the breath. Full, steady, rhythmic breaths. Shoulders wrapping away from the ears. Bottom of the next exhalation. Step to the top of the mat. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to rise all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti, back to center. Pause for a few breaths here. Notice any effects through the body. Feel the breath, feel the heartbeats. Now moving on, bend the knees, reach down, skim the earth with the fingertips. Inhale, lift the upper body into Utkatasana, reaching high. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back, then either lower the knees, chest and chin again, or lower halfway down for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog, bright chest. Exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward, left heel down for warrior one. Inhale, rise up, touching tall. Exhale, hands down. Step all the way back, lower. Inhale, unwind, lifting the chest. Exhale, pull back. And now left foot forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, takes you back all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now a few breaths here. Dropping into the breath. Bend the knees, look forward, empty of breath. Step or jump top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Bend the knees, sit low. Inhale, Utkatasana, reaching up. Exhale, back to where you started. Samastiti. Free breath here in between. And now we go again. So inhale here. Exhale, bend the knees, reach down. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. Step or jump back, lower. Inhale for cobra or upward dog. Exhale, pull back. Right foot forward, left heel down. Inhale, warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, takes you all the way down. Inhale for the back bend, lifting the heart. Exhale, pull back. Right heel down, left foot forward. Inhale, warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. And breathe here. Strong through the arms, sitting bones floating upward. Steady breath moving through the entire awareness, entire body. Bend the knees, look forward. Bottom of the exhalation, step or jump top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Bend the knees, sit low, keep the hips low. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stand tall. Samastitihi. Free breath here. And now we'll go through one more time at your own pace. Here we go. Whenever you finish, just stand in samastitihi. Close the eyes. Again, bring the awareness inward. Feel the breath. Feel the heartbeat. Feel the vitality, the heat. The body fully alive, fully present. Now open the eyes and hop the feet about hip distance apart, hands to the hips. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, fold forward halfway down. And now reach down and grab the big toes. Bend the knees as much as needed to grab the toes. Then inhale, lengthen the spine, chest moving forward. Exhale, fold all the way down. Elbows draw out to either side. Shoulders away from the ears as the head and neck soften down. Sitting bones rising upwards. Lowest belly drawing in to give you space to fold over. Steady full breath through the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, switch the hands to insert your palms underneath the feet for Padahastasana. Inhale, lengthen again. Exhale, fold back down, back to this upside down view of the world. Steady, soft gaze, strong through the legs, soft through the neck. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the hips. And now with strong legs and a flat back, inhale, stand up, strong in the center. And as you exhale, hop the feet back together, samastitihi. And now again, standing at the top of your mat, if you're not still there. Inhale, arms rise, really reach up. As tall as you can make yourself, pause here. Pressing into the feet, reaching up through the fourth fingers, diving out away from the earth. Feel the sides of the ribs lifting upward, lengthening the waist. As the tailbone drops towards the heels. Inhale, reach a little higher. And now exhale, keeping that length, dive all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands. And now step the feet back to a high plank position. This time stay here. Pressing back through the heels. Reach the chest forward. Look slightly forward. And now draw the belly in. So the whole thing becomes hollow. Sense of lightness. Even as the fire starts to build inside. Inhale here. And now exhale, slowly lower all the way to the belly. Hands alongside the chest. And now on an inhalation, lift the chest into cobra pose. But then pick up the hands a few inches. Elbows draw back. Shoulders back. Lift the face slightly, and then gaze down the line of the nose to keep some length in the back of the neck. Legs spiraling backward, pinky toes rooting to the floor. Belly drawing in to reach the chest forward. Inhale, lift a little higher. And then exhale, lower the forehead down. And shift your hips back to your heels, child's pose, balasana. A few breaths here. Feel the back of the body spreading with the breath. This broad expanse, as if you were carrying the entire world, like a broad tortoise shell supporting the earth. And now keeping the hips down and back in child's pose, bend the elbows, bring the hands together behind the head. And then let the chest soften down. Roll the shoulders away from the ears so you feel this stretch on the outer armpits, opening through the shoulders. And then release the hands back down. Walk the hands in towards the knees. Come up to a kneeling position. Now bring the hands to the top of the head and try to find the crown of your head. So if you were to wear a crown, that center point where you feel very regal, like you can press up. And a helpful way to do this is by pushing on different parts of the head. So you'll notice that if you push more towards the forehead, it's very difficult to push up and you kind of collapse through the spine. Similarly, if you push towards the back of the head, you crunch the neck in a different way. But now try to find the point right at the top of the head where you feel like as strongly as you push down, you can shoot back up into the hands. And it's tapping into that same idea of the center line that we always work with. From the crown of the head down to the pelvic floor. So when you find the crown of the head, dig in there a little bit so you remember where that spot is. And now bring the hands back to the heels. Drop the chin towards the chest and then start to roll down through the spine. Lean forward and bring the crown of the head to that floor, that strong point. And now lift the hips, keep holding on to the heels. Let the back of the chest expand. This is Shashangasana, the rabbit pose. Steady breath here. And lower the hips down. Roll back up to a kneeling position. Now the next posture that we'll work with today is Shirshasana, or the headstand. And this pose is known as the king of all asanas, or the father of all asanas. And it's a remarkable way to see from a very different perspective by going upside down, holding the world on your head, and seeing everything flipped. So of course, this may feel very scary, and there are a whole bunch of stopping points along the way. So the way that we'll do this today, there are many stages, and you'll stay at whatever stage feels like it's safe, feels like it's doing something useful for you. And that's the best way to learn to do headstand, is to do it very incrementally, always maintaining stability, building a strong foundation, and then really getting the full benefits from the pose. So it might mean that your legs don't go all the way upside down, and that's totally fine. There are many benefits from doing inversions that don't require necessarily what we think of as the full form or the full expression of the posture. So what we'll do is we'll be doing headstand with the arms in a very strong shape, with the elbows about shoulder distance apart, hands interlaced, so the arms make two sides of an equilateral triangle. Super strong. So set your foundation. Elbows about shoulder distance apart, hands clasped. And now tuck the toes. And then just lift the hips up and back. Let the head just drop down so the head is free here. It's free to move, not resting on the floor. Hips reaching high. And drive the elbows forward and down so the shoulders wrap away from the ears, anchoring them onto the back. And this might be a lovely, wonderful place to stay. Getting all the benefits of being upside down here. Feeling the strength through the shoulders, the stability through the arms. For the next stage, start to walk the feet in towards your face, so you feel the hips come more overhead. And then you can stay here, or place the head to the floor, resting on the crown of the head, that strong point. Again, shoulders wrapping away from the ears. And you might stay here. Or for the next stage, draw one heel at a time in towards the hips, trying to feel that stacking sensation as the hips come over the crown of the head. Or if that feels like it's going well, maybe draw both heels in. Elbows driving down into the floor. Steady breath, steady focus. And then if everything is stable, you might extend up through the legs. Feel this crown, everything moving into the middle. Feet pressing upward like samastitihi turned upside down. Steady breath. Whenever you're ready to come down, we'll come down the same way we went in, bending the knees, releasing the feet to the floor if they were lifted, and then everybody drop the knees to the floor, and we'll rest in child's pose. Let the breath flood through the body. Gently press the forehead into the mat to neutralize the neck. Now lift the chest just enough that you can thread the right arm underneath the left shoulder. Bring the right shoulder to the mat, right cheek to the mat. Roll up onto that shoulder. Left arm can come out overhead or wrap around the back for a bind. Take a few deep breaths here, spreading the space between the shoulder blades. And then lower the left arm down, lower the hips, unwind the right arm. Second side, thread the left arm underneath, lift the hips. Right arm can come out overhead or wrap around the back. Deep breaths here, spreading between the shoulder blades, upper back. Replace the right arm, lower the hips down. Unwind the arms, back to center. And now walk the hands in towards the knees. Lift up to a kneeling position. And then shift the feet around to sit in Dandasana, the staff pose. Sitting tall here. Sitting bones root down, heels press down, and then press forward through the mound of the big toe. So there's this internal spiral through the lower legs. even as the sitting bones curl towards each other underneath you. Hands alongside the hips. Lift through the crown of the head. Pull the chin slightly back and tuck it down, lengthening the back of the neck. Jalandhara Bandha. And now as you inhale, the heart floats upwards. Exhale, keep the heart lifted, belly draws in and up. A few deep breaths here. Inhale, lift the head, arms overhead. And exhale, fold forward, Paschimottanasana. Grab wherever you can on the feet or the legs. And then inhale, back away, lengthen, look up. Exhale, soften in. Every breath, let the breath move through you. Inhales for length. Exhale to ride the wave of the breath, deeper into the pose. Receptive to what's ever there. Inhale, back away, look up. And then exhale, release the pose, sit tall. And now bring the legs into an easy sitting pose, sitting cross-legged. Hands behind your back, grab opposite elbows or opposite wrists. Inhale, lift the head, lifting the chest. And then exhale, fold forward. Bring the forehead down towards the floor. Yoga Mudrasana. Drop into the breath here. Steady, full breath. Follow your next exhalation all the way to its empty point. And then empty of breath, initiate the rise. Inhale as you sit up, lifting the chest again. Now release the hands. Bring the back of the hands to the knees, thumb and forefinger together in Jnana Mudra. Close the eyes. Steady breath here. Softening the shoulders, feeling the heart float. The interplay of inhalation and exhalation. Up and down, rising, descending. Follow your next exhalation all the way out. And then inhale. Open the eyes. And lie down onto your back for the final resting pose, Savasana. So arrange the body with the legs a little wider than the hips, rolling gently outward. Soften the shoulders onto the back. Then the hands rest a few inches out from the hips, palms face up. Feel the back of the body, everywhere it makes contact with the earth. That gentle support holding you up. And now feel the air on your skin, the space around you, the expansive sky outside. Now take a long, smooth inhalation. Feel the body expand, and almost as if the breath moves out beyond the body. And as you exhale, let the breath wash down and back, softening the edges of inside and outside. Then release any technique, release the breath, and let yourself simply rest in your own being. Open to infinite perspectives. Begin to deepen the breath again. Just feel the way it fills you and empties you. Now start little movements in fingertips and tips of the toes. Then inhale, arms overhead. Draw the legs together. Stretch long through the center line of the body. And slowly bend the knees. Notice which nostril feels more open as you breathe. And roll to the more open side. And pause on your side, supporting the head with the arm. And as you're ready, press your way back up to a comfortable seat. Sitting bones dropping down and back. Lift through the crown of the head. Close the eyes. Just take a few final deep breaths into whatever space you've made for yourself through your practice. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. And we'll close by chanting together, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Allow for the inhalation. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May we open ourselves to be able to see from different perspectives, even if we don't agree. Being kind to ourselves, kind to others, cultivating compassion and steadiness. It's starting to rain here in India. Little droplets coming down. So nice. Thank you so much for practicing, and we'll see you again soon.